Morning, people. This is Lee Craft, the host of the What If podcast. Today's show is being real to my people. You probably say, Lee Craft, what do you mean, Lee Craft? And if you're real to your people will defend you in times, man, when times get hard on you. What I mean by that, when people start talking about you, trying to degrade your name, doing all those different things. And I'm going to give you some different scenarios. You're going to say, Lee Craft, I got you. That's why I was saying during my podcast, in order to have a real conversation, you got to have real people because people are fake. People will show you who they're not before they show you who they are. It's just life. You have to learn those life lessons. Those life lessons sometimes can cost you everything you have because of people being jealous of you, being jealous of the man that you become, the man that you are, and the man that they see you going to be even more. You know what I'm saying? So they hate that. They hate that. So, like I said, talking to my people, being real with my people. That's what I'm going to do. So, but before we get started, if you have any comments or concerns, please email me at leecraftwhatif@gmail.com or go to Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, or Instagram. Look for the animated black man with a white beard, smiling and profiling and finally realizing, y'all trying to size me up. Like I said, I'm going to give you different scenarios about being real with my people. Like I said, sometimes when you go through life, everything that you do through life, it prepares you for your next phase in life. You don't see it, but God prepares you for your next phase in life. I work at this place, this light bulb place. I'm not gonna call the name. And like I said, that was one of my other beginnings. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go a little bit back further than that. I'm gonna go back to a place where I worked at General Warehouse, third party logistics, right? And that's when I went through as a regular worker. Jumped to did I do a lead? No. Yeah, I went to lead. Then I went to supervisor. And when you go through all those different steps, people, they look at you differently. Same guys you used to hang with, now your roles have changed and they trying to talk about you. You trying to please everybody by trying to make the work so everybody be happy. And it's driving me crazy. I'm pleasing them, but I'm losing me. So went to some classes about for managerial classes and all those different things, right? And I said, you know what? Tell my wife, I gotta change, baby. What do you mean? Baby, I'm trying to please everybody and I'm losing myself. My wife said, Lee, in order to please everybody, I got the rules, baby. The rules are the equalizer. So you know what? You sure know what to say. And that's what I started doing. I said, I went back to work. I said, from this day forward, this is how things gonna go. And the same guy was talking about me and stuff, but they on down the line, they came back to me and apologized. You know what I'm saying? It's the lead man. I was wrong. So say ain't no problem. That's why I say if you real with people, in your absence, they will defend you. Because one time I was telling this young guy, he said, Lee, I need to go take my break at 11 o'clock. I said, no, you go on lunch at 12 like everybody else. We had a lot of business during the month, had a lot of temps that come in and stuff, right? And he went and told one guy, I'm going to jump on Lee Craft after work. You going to jump on Lee? I said, no, what Lee do to you? He said, I told Lee I need to go take my medicine, because he said, you told Lee this? No. He said, well, you wrong. That man came back to me and apologized. You follow me? So you real with people, in your absence, they're going to defend you. So, but be mindful, no matter what you're going through, I can guarantee you one thing, that is going to be okay as long as you make God a part of your life. That's the what if guarantee. What if? What if you add God to your diet? I guarantee you're going to say, you know what? I got to start being real like Lee Craft. Look, another scenario, right? We're going to quantum leap back to this light bulb place, right? I was directing a young lady to, she had started picking from an area. And the pallet she picked from, she just messed the pallet up. I said, she could put it back in the air. I said, hold, time out. Do me a favor. Fix that before you put it back into the location. She didn't say anything about it, but she fixed the pallet. So, but during break, she went out to the smoke area and started talking about yours truly, Lee Craft. Said, I'm tired of Lee Craft. Lee Craft want everybody to do everything right. That person told her, you should want to do everything right. Everything was solid. See, when you real with people, in your absence, they're going to defend you and shut everything down, But like I said, that won't stop anything. You know what I'm saying? Even people who so-call themselves being so-called holy rollers and stuff, right, and do the same exact thing. You know what I mean? So, like I said, the same place. You work with this man, he say he was a preacher. But, I'm not knocking nobody, right? But the same guy who said he was a preacher, right, who I have to help this man move several times and everything, with no strings attached. Didn't even charge him not one dime. When I called on him to help me out, he never showed up. Told one of my partners, Lexi, man, I ain't studying Lee Craft, man. Shoot, man, forget him. But hey, ain't how God work? So this man called me and another coworker. Say, hey, man, we need to sit down and talk. We used to be cool and close. So we went out to eat. Sit down and eat for a minute. I said, man, what's going on, man? I said, man, Craft, I want to apologize to you, man. I was wrong. Wrong about what? The way I told everybody about you was you changed and stuff when you got into leadership role and how you changed. You never changed. You the same person. I asked the question. Did you tell the other people that you told me? No. Well, you ain't did nothing then. If you ain't told them what you lied, how you lied about me, you ain't did nothing. Because they still believe the nonsense that you said. Well, part of it, because they knew I wasn't that guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. When you're real with people, they're going to defend you. And some of the ones defended me. Like I got to call it my pastor. My pastor, a.k.a. PAM, she defended me against all those lies and stuff. Because when that pastor came to me talking all this noise, I can't be around Lee Craft, or Lee Craft is saying things that Timmy's saying. She said, well, hey, you're a preacher, right? If Lee Craft's saying something wrong, why don't you tell Lee what he's saying wrong? Don't run from him. Walk to him and correct him. Man, it went silent. So all I'm saying to people is real people. When you're real with people in your absence, they're going to defend you. So keep being real. That's why I say, in order to have a real conversation, you got to have real people. Everybody ain't real. Everybody wants something for nothing. But here I am, just doing the best I possibly can, because they don't know what I know. I know about the circle of life. I know about the circle of life. Now I'm going to give you a little taste of the circle of life. The circle of life is this right here. The things you do come back to you directly or indirectly. They affect you the same exact way. That's why I say I do things with no strings attached. My daughter was off in college, and she would call home time to time. She needed some money and everything, right? I said, tell my wife, damn, baby. See, she's selling her money. What's the lack? But one time, she was broke, and she was afraid to call home. I found it out. It kind of hurts me a little bit, but ain't God good? So that's why I said the circle of life. When she was afraid to call home, her roommate was going out of town and gave her her food card. That's why I said it affect you directly or indirectly. It had the same results. That's why I say when I do certain things, no strings attached. Sometimes you gotta do things just because. Everybody want to put a price on certain things. My time is money. Man, forget all that, man. You can do it, man. You got enough to do it, man. Do it with no strings attached. You ain't got to charge for everything. That's all I'm saying, people. You have to charge for everything. So that's my story for this morning. You know what I'm saying about that. Being real with your people. When you be real with your people, they're gonna defend you. They're gonna defend you. People don't understand that. People see that you really, you're genuine. They can feel your honesty. When you sitting there running your mouth and you're lying with like a split tongue, they know that. They might not tell you that, but they know that. These people say, Lee Craft, why are you this way? Why are you not this way? That's all I'm saying. If the world was more like me, more of a giver, and all those things you're trying to do to improve the world, make the world better, this would be a better place to live, wouldn't it? Jesus right here, Jesus right there, Jesus inside of here, Jesus inside of here. Say less, Lee Craft. So that's my story for this morning, good people. Like I said, I know my children probably saying, Daddy, you're not a good storyteller. I'm telling my children, y'all ain't lying. Y'all ain't lying. Before they get high, they say you're lying. Y'all ain't, but they ain't not lying, though. So, like I said, what comes from the heart, reaches the heart. So, with that being said, this is Lee Craft. This is my podcast. If you have any comments or concerns, please email me at leecraftwhatif@gmail.com. One band, one sound. Together, we got an opportunity to turn this whole world around. But in order to have a real conversation, you got to have real people if you want to have that real conversation. Have a blessed day. And please find time and make time to tell God, thank you. Stay blessed.